It's giving Jan Brady. Do you know what I'm talking about? Maybe Marsha. I love this transition time where there's a little overlap between seasons. Like fall is still lingering, Christmas is beginning, and everyone makes that transition at a different time. I personally am easing into Christmas a little bit slower than usual this year, letting fall wind down while starting to add in some Christmas magic. Think pumpkins and Christmas tree. So today's video is kind of like a little bridge between the seasons. What I read this fall, moments I want to remember, but also how we're welcoming Christmas and what I want to read this December. So let's go ahead and jump in with what I read this fall. I started off with Big Dumb Eyes by Nate Bargatze. He is my favorite comedian. I just love him. So this was a really fun way to get to know him a little better. I would say it was equal parts sincere and funny, which I really appreciated. 4 stars. Next, I picked up First Time Caller by BK Borison, which is a flipped Sleepless in Seattle retelling. He's the jaded radio host and her daughter calls in trying to find love for her mom. And so it goes viral and they actually invite the mom to come on the show to see if she can find love. It's very cute. I read this while coming out of a season of grief earlier this fall, and it was exactly what I needed, exactly when I needed it. Sweet, but grounded in reality with characters I really loved. It's one of those books I just wanted to live in, you know? 4.5 stars. And now I really want to check out more BK Borison books. As you could probably tell, my first 2 books of fall were not very fall themed, so I was determined for my next one to be. I watched the trailer for the Housemaid movie coming out in December and I thought, oh yes, this is absolutely the vibe. It's about this woman who's hired to be the housemaid of a very wealthy family, but from the beginning, everyone seems fishy. So it was really fun trying to figure out like who's actually crazy here. So I ate this up and I cannot wait to see the movie. 4 stars. Another book I picked up because the movie looked good, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. It follows 4 residents who live in a very bougie assisted living facility in the English countryside. They meet every Thursday to solve cold cases, but then an actual murder happens and they are on the case. It really is a cozy mystery, which is not usually my vibe because it usually feels too slow paced. But I really liked this one because the characters were very quirky and fun. 3.75 stars. Next up was my local book club's October pick for the month and another Freida McFadden, The Intruder. As a book club, we collectively didn't love it. It's about a woman living off the grid and a storm is coming and then all of a sudden there is this intruder. At first I was so spooked, like I could not read it alone. But then I realized if I had just read the back, I would have known this, so it's not a spoiler. But then I realized that the intruder is like a middle school girl, and from then on, definitely not scary. Freida McFadden is great at writing very eerie books. They're always fast paced, always a good time, but the plot felt more like, what are we doing than what's gonna happen, you know? And the ending was super abrupt. I did not care for it. So I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. 3 stars. Then I finished Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which I talk more about in my New York video, but I really loved this. It was a little slower paced, but very atmospheric, perfect for October or whenever you want those dark academia vibes. It follows Victor Frankenstein, who becomes obsessed with conquering death and he figures out how to create life. So he creates this humongous being that he then immediately regrets and basically spends the whole book trying to run away from. I watched the new movie afterwards and it was beautiful cinema, but wow, was it gory. Like it was well done, but wow. 4.5 stars. Next, I read The Hobbit. Talk about a world I want to live in. I can't decide if I would want to be a hobbit or an elf more. Probably an elf because they're dope, but I feel like I'm more hobbit coded. And I don't know how I feel about that. I love the Lord of the Rings movies. We watch them every few years as a family, the full extended edition. And we actually have this running joke in my family because every few years, my dad forgets that he hates Lord of the Rings. And he'll make some comment like, oh, it's been a while since we've watched it. And my brothers and I will just be like, it's time. And then we watch them, the extended editions. And every time without fail, halfway through the second movie, my dad is like, wait a minute, I hate these movies. And he has yet to finish them. Isn't that the most unhinged thing you've ever heard? Anyway, back to The Hobbit. I had a really good time with this, getting to spend more time in a world that I already know I love. And it was so lighthearted. Lord of the Rings, the whole point is that it's very serious. You know, it's good versus evil. So the stakes are very high. Whereas The Hobbit was just very unserious. You know, it was very quirky. It was very episodic. The narrator broke the fourth wall. Also, the audiobook with Andy Serkis is amazing. 5 stars. Then I read If It Makes You Happy Happy by Julia Olivia, which I picked up in New York during our bookstore tour. How do I even describe this book? I'm realizing how many books I read this fall that were just comforting because this is another world that I want to live in. I am not always a big romance girly, but this book did everything right for a romance book. I said what I said. I said what I said. There are no annoying tropes, no unhealthy communication, no villain. It has self-aware characters. It's just realizing what falling in love in a safe, healthy relationship is like. It follows Michelle, who temporarily takes over her late mother's bed and breakfast, and Cliff, the single dad next door. I know it sounds like a Hallmark movie. That's what I was worried about too, especially like he's a baker. It's the whole thing. But it genuinely surprised me with how authentic it was. And I loved all of the relationships in this. He has two daughters, and just like the banter between him and his teenage daughter was genuinely making me laugh. It's set from fall to New Year's, so still in season, I would say. 5 stars. And finally, this last book I am still currently reading. I'm trying to finish it up before diving into my December reading, and that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I'm about 20% through, and I'm really liking it so far. Her writing is so whimsical. It follows a woman named Holland who is obsessed with folklore and myths in the Los Angeles area where she lives, and how she gets pulled into the dangerous side of magic. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It's still building at this point. So there you have it. These books really shaped my fall season. I mean, this was mostly bangers. And what more could you want? That is the dream as a reader, to have a season of mostly bangers. But outside of the pages, here are a few cozy moments that I want to remember. Cue montage. Look at this. It's Christmas. I take back what I said. I take back what I said. We are not easing into Christmas. We are diving head first. Just put up the tree and I'm like, it's Christmas. We just put the tree up. Okay, honestly, that was so rude. I can't believe that just happened. I wanted to do look at this mug before I go on. It's a little cow with a wreath and a candy cane handle. Oh gosh, I can't even take it. Y'all, I'm obsessed with my mugs. One person on Instagram asked for a mug tour, and I was like, don't tempt me with a good time. I will do one. Anyway, I wanted to do my Christmas TBR now that we're shifting into Christmas time. First on the December bookshelf is Good Spirits by who? BK Borison. Like I said, I really like First Time Callers, so I wanted to give her other books a try. It's about the ghost of Christmas past. He starts to fall in love with the girl that he's haunting. Cute. And look at this. I'm a sucker for a good sprayed edge. Beautiful. I also want to read One Big Happy Family by Susan Mallory. It's like a family dynamics kind of Christmas. Her kids are grown and they don't want to spend Christmas all together. And then surprise, they do. All these family secrets are revealed. And it just sounds like a lighthearted but but drama-filled time. Another book that's been on my list for a few Christmases now is The Legend of Holly Claus by Brittany Ryan. This is part of the Julie Andrews collection. It's all about how Santa is the king of forever, the land of immortals, and one year a child asks him what he wishes for Christmas, and he says he wishes for a child. So then he has a daughter named Holly Claus, but then an evil sorcerer places a curse on her, and then she needs to save the land of forever. So it just sounds like fairy tale Christmas. Also on my Christmas bookshelf is Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. This was actually the book club pick for November, and I didn't read it. I was waiting for this to become available at the library, so I'm going to read it now, belated. It's about a man named Theo, and he travels to this town, and in that town there is a coffee shop that has all of these portraits of people, and he starts to buy each portrait and return it to the person it is of, and I think like collects their stories. I'm not entirely sure, but everyone liked it in my book club, and when I checked it out, the librarian said a lot of people have been checking this out lately, so I guess we'll see what all the hype is about. This next one isn't December or Christmas specific, but I would like to read it. The Four Loves by C.S. Lewis. I read a lot of fiction. Nonfiction is not really my friend, but I would like to get better at implementing nonfiction into my rotation, even if it takes me longer to read. So I would like to get this one going. And last, but certainly not least, is Throne of Glass. It has been a long time coming, but I'm finally doing it. So let me know if there's any specific content you would like to see with that, because I will be starting. Your girl will be starting at the end of December. I'm glad that we could bridge the seasons together. Now I'm fully on the other side of the bridge. So if you need me to call you from the other side, like, come on, the water's fine, then come on, the water's fine. I hope your holiday season is gentle and slow with plenty of pockets for reading some real good books. I will see you for my December recommendations video next. Cheers. I can't handle it. It's like it's coming in to kiss you. I love it so much. Okay, cheers.